want to stay on the line with me and let me know what's going on?
It's getting pretty bad.
She calls up to the upstairs bedroom to her, I believe it's a 9-year-old son, and says, hey, can you call 911? You know, he's really getting out of hand. There's a lot of screaming and yelling, glass breaking, that kind of thing.
Mom, you okay?
And we could hear the screaming and yelling from 100, 200 feet away. The guy was just completely out of control.
Yelling, ranting, and raving at his wife, who was seated on the couch, kind of just cowering there.
It's getting really bad.
There was nothing but broken glass. The Christmas presents were all broken and smashed on the floor.
Please hurry, I don't want my mom to get hurt.
It looked to us like her nose was probably broken.
He has like pinned down on the ground.
He has her pinned down?
Yeah.
I mean, this kid was absolutely petrified of his father.
I, of course, by the time the police got there, was hysterical. I felt I was going to have a heart attack. I was so upset and terrified.
The batterer is totally calm and controlled and is saying, you know, you got to help her. She's hysterical.
He kept me under surveillance. He wanted me to keep a list of everybody I called and everybody who called in, where I spent every cent, everywhere I went.
What we know about domestic violence is it's about power and control.
Being a battered woman is about being a prisoner of war.
Probably the most effective thing is to tell the victim, you know, I'm concerned for your safety. I really care about what happens to you, and you don't deserve to be abused.
This is not about negotiation. This is not about mediation. It's not crisis. This is a crime. It should be dealt with as a crime. And there's one answer for a criminal, and that's arrest and holding them responsible for what they do.
It's not a crime for the woman to be in a domestic violence situation. It's a crime for the abuser to hit her.
It's the root of most of the problems that we deal with in law enforcement today, simply because domestic violence is learned behavior. It's taught to children and it's carried on into their adult life.
Whoever is doing the abuse probably was abused as a child.
The violent criminals that we deal with tomorrow come from homes filled with domestic violence today.
He had to have seen it. He had to have learned it from someplace.
Everything we're doing is about breaking the cycle. Domestic violence is the sins of the parents visited on the children of the 3rd and 4th generation.
Hi, I'm Kevin Mahoney with the Polaroid Corporation, and I'd like to introduce you to the Spectral Autofocus Camera, a powerful tool in helping to stop the cycle of domestic violence. Let me just introduce you to the camera by showing you how to load some film. Underneath the strap, we have a little toggle switch with an arrow. If you push the toggle switch in the direction of the arrow, it'll pop open the camera. On the opposite side of the strap, we have another toggle switch located inside the camera. By pushing that toggle switch down, it'll open up the film door, which will allow you to load some film into the camera. The film pack simply loaded writing side up, slides right in, close the film door, that'll eject out the dark slide. Now you're ready to take some pictures.
If the jury could see what I saw on the night of the call, there would be a conviction without a doubt, and that's what photographs do.
Well, photographs are the recording of the terror, the rage, the pain, the trauma of domestic violence.
I wish I had had photographs. No one ever once mentioned the possibility of even doing such a thing, then I would have had some proof that he'd done it.
A police officer can write in a police report all he wants. She had cuts, she had bruises, she had scrapes. Nothing is going to be equal to a photograph.
Photos really have nothing to do with your statements or anything you saw or how you saw it. The photograph is there. It can't lie. It can't be mistaken. It can't be anything. The defense attorney really can't say too much about it.
I wish I could tell you the reactions I've seen from juries and judges when they hold a Polaroid picture in their hand of a victim who's been beaten.
Because that photograph can go into court and it can make a judge care. It can make a jury care. And if you don't have a photograph, you don't have the power to convince a jury of what really happened.
There's 3 types of pictures that you should take in a domestic violence incident: a long range, a medium range, and a close-up. The purpose for a long range shot is to clearly identify who the victim is and where the injuries are on the body. In taking a long range shot, what you want to do is position the camera vertically with the flash located above the camera lens. If you can also position the victim in a corner, this will help to eliminate some of the head shadowing that you may see on the back wall behind the victim. The next type of shot that you want to take is a medium range shot. Typically a medium range shot is about 3 to 4 feet away from the victim. Here's an example of a medium range shot.
Battered women say things and do things that may cause us to believe that they don't want help.
Their very lives and the lives of their children are at stake when they cooperate with me.
When some stranger walks into the middle of all of this, you're not likely to trust them.
If our intervention system says, well, if she doesn't do this, then we're not going to do that, or if she acts this way, then we're not going to help her. If we have a system like that, we'll never intervene, we'll never stop domestic violence.
The goal of our domestic violence assault investigations to produce victimless prosecutions.
In fact, our highest conviction rate now in our jurisdiction is when the victim comes in and testifies for the batterer.
You can't control the victim, but you can take the pictures and capture the moment.
If you put the victim in charge of this intervention, you're telling the batterer that all he's got to do is threaten, manipulate, control her, and the case will go away and he won't be held accountable. But if you put the focus on him, you can stop the violence.
Now the next type of shot is a close-up shot, so you want to move in closer to the victim. And there's two ways of doing this. One, it's attaching our light lock close-up lens onto the front of the Spectra camera. There's two ways to focus with the light lock close-up lens. One with the drawstring. If you extend the drawstring out, the end of the drawstring will give you your proper focusing distance. The second way of doing it is with the blue light on top of the light lock close-up lens. By pushing that blue light, that will give you two crescents. And where the two crescents merge or come together, that tells you that you're in the proper focusing distance away, and you can take your picture. And taking the picture, push the shutter button in, and keep pushing it in, and take a step away from the victim. And let the picture eject out in your hand instead of ejecting it out in her face. The second way of taking a close-up picture is working with our one-to-one copy stand. The top simply opens up to allow the Spectra camera to slide right in or directly into the one-to-one copy stand. This is used to take an exact one-to-one of whatever it is that you want to document, whether it's a cut, a bruise, a laceration, something like that. Simply place it over the cut or bruise and take a picture. This type of picture will show you or give you a lot more information because you'll be a lot closer.
You look at every misdemeanor case as though it is a homicide, and that every piece of information and evidence is crucial to the prosecution of that case and holding people accountable, then you're going to be in pretty good shape.
When you go to a domestic violence scene, everything you do there, you're trying to keep in mind that you're going to have to go to court on this, so you're doing everything to prepare for that court date.
It's a lot cheaper to do this process right, to document, to build the case, to successfully prosecute and intervene. That's a lot cheaper than waiting until you have a dead body and prosecuting a homicide case.
You have to sort of tell the story of the whole incident with photography. You have to walk through that entire case from the photograph of the front of the house to identify where you were, to the front door that had been kicked in, to the screen door that had been ripped off, and the glass of the one that had been broken out, the telephone that's been pulled out.
To try and capture a broad picture of the scene and then to focus in on details.
Everything has the potential for being photographed. You take a picture of the kids. Just the kids present at the scene is a powerful image that we need to get into the court system.
I've had judges tell me, you've made it very easy on me, officer, because you documented your case. You brought me photographs. I can see, I can feel, I can hear, I can touch this crime scene. You've actually transferred it from that person's living room into my courtroom. And that's what I want, so I can hold this person accountable. A woman called me at the police precinct where I was, and she said, you sent me the wrong officer. And I said, I beg your pardon? She said, I'm a victim of domestic violence, and the officer came and didn't believe me and didn't investigate my crime. And I need the right officer. You sent the wrong officer. And I said, well, ma'am, I'm going to send you the right officer. I sent her the right officer. Then I brought the wrong officer in, and I made him the right officer. Because victims know when you walk into the scene of a crime whether you want to be there or not, and you want to really, truly protect their rights.